So, we watched ParaNorman.
Yes.
So I had seen it before. I know you had not.
I have not at all. I've read it like on TV tropes and stuff, but entirely new to actually seeing it.
Norman is a kid who has the ability to see and communicate with dead people.
Yeah. Basic medium. Yeah.
Including his grandmother, who's Elaine Stritch.
And who is she? I don't know. Who
She's like a Broadway
is.
legend and stuff. You're not gay. You're not gay enough.
Gay enough for you.
Yeah, well, fair enough. They live in a sort of Salem-esque town, basically, where they're...
Yeah, everything's sort of witch-themed.
It's a sort of tourist trap that's kind of built around this historical event where a witch was...
punished, we'll say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they actually say that she was put to death.
Oh, yeah. Put to death.
This is sort of like the PG vein of kids' movies where they can still, like, at least allude to actual dark things and profanity and stuff without actually going all the way.
Yeah, this one, it was like, I heard they really pushed the edge on what a PG rating was.
Mm-hmm. And this is relevant to us because this is, I think, one of the very few kids' movies that actually has an openly gay character.
Well, like the first. It was like big and announced.
Was it the first or
the first American production that had an openly gay character?
You know, you're gonna love my boyfriend. He's like a total chick flick nut.
He's a very kind of stylized, muscled guy. It's kind of that weird, like, kind of Aeon Flux body type.
God, I hate that. I hate that thing. I'm an animator, and I hate the thing where they do, the very hyper developed upper body, and then the tiny little legs and
like he doesn't have a stomach, or like it's all his organs are crammed under this tiny tube.
There's this much body, and then his waist is like right here. Mm-hmm. So he has legs that are all of a foot long.
Yeah.
Norman is kid who can see the dead. He goes through life, he is, the loner. People don't like him. He's very ostracized for the fact that he can see the dead, because the thing is, he also casually interacts with the dead who are all over the freaking place.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, peace, man.
Totally.
Eventually, he runs into, I guess, his crazy old uncle, who has the same thing. And the uncle tries to lure him into this, secret mission type thing to save the town.
Basically, the witch's curse is going to cause the dead to rise up. Basically, he sets him on this quest to prevent the disaster from happening, and then later we find out that it's a little more complicated than that.
Then it was like the whole thing of, you had the biggest inversion was you had a scene where the whole town had like turned into this torches and pitchfork mob. Mm-hmm. And they were, coming after, the kid characters. And it was literally the inversion of, the mob was the zombies, because the kids had barricaded themselves inside a town hall. And, the adults were, like, reaching through the things, just like you have, the zombies reaching through boarded up windows and stuff.
Well, I think that's actually not, I mean, even like in like Frankenstein and stuff, like the mob is the real, like, the man is the real monster sort of thing. But... yeah, it was definitely, these are by far some of the more sympathetic zombies we've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, there was no real concrete villain as such. There were threats, but everyone resolved to be,
if anything,
misunderstood in the end.
If anything, the most antagonist character was the wacky uncle, who... he even got some sort of
he was like unreasonably menacing for no necessary reason.
They even had like a sort of like musical sting where it's like, this is the villain of the movie, because he's stomping around and being aggressive and stuff.
I'll show him and that scary little fat kid.
Well, the thing was, it almost made no sense, because you could tell he was supposed to be presenting, the hero's journey style, offer of adventure or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, he was going about it all the wrong way. But I guess it goes with just being crazy.
Yeah. This movie isn't exactly subtle about a lot of its stuff, I think.
No. And I feel like it was really heavily metaphored in some areas.
Well, it does kind of and I think pretty much almost every Disney movie does this too. And a lot of just kids' movies in general, where it's the whole message is that you're different, like it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of what's different, be yourself.
Mm-hmm. But then also, there was also things more about, it wasn't just about the individual character, it was also about how other people react to you in this one.
Yeah.
This one more had about more communication going on about the, whole thing about people being scared of different things, and
it was less about, I guess it wasn't so much it's okay to be yourself, it's more about don't be afraid of other people because they're different.
Yeah.
This movie was a lot gayer than I remember it being. Like, I mean, there is the whole thing, like, you can, like, this is a situation that can apply to any sort of, you know, person who's different. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't have to be just gayness, but there are some specific lines, like...
that are very suggestive.
At one point, the dad says something like, you know, enough of this limp-wristed, liberal stuff.
I'm nothing if I'm not liberal, but that limp-wristed hippie garbage needs to be nipped in the bud.
Someone said they were born that way at one point. I forget who it was.
I think Norman said that.
Norman said he was born this way.
And asked to be born this way.
Funny. Neither did we.
I definitely liked the style, the everything being a little bit off-center and stuff. And did you notice? I actually was looking this up. Did you notice the eyes? Norman had faceted eyes, or they were like little like octagons or whatever. Had like little visible like edges to the irises.
I didn't notice that.
Apparently, also so did the uncle, and so did the witch.
Interesting.
I almost expected a little bit more out of it, but it worked pretty well. I mean, as a kid's film too.
I really like the music in it. There's that one kind of like melancholy theme you kind of hear throughout it that I really enjoyed. It's definitely very sweet. I teared up at the end for sure, even watching it, having already seen it. Yeah. So ParaNorman is good.
Is good.
And we enjoyed it.
And it was gay.
Yes, it was. Yay.
Yay.